A little bit different. Welcome back to the Think Strong pod. How you doing, Az?
Yeah, good. I feel like I'm a million miles away, but we're about 5 minutes down the road from each other still.
Yeah. So just getting ahead of our plans for the end of the year. A little bit of an online episode to see if we can make this get through technology at our grand ages of 32 and 30.
29, mate. Go give me
29.
that.
Well, you're nearly there. Only another half a year to go.
Yeah. I'm sure we can push on and make it an unrivaled success, as our 66 subscribers on YouTube are already demonstrating for us.
Yeah, I think Spotify's doing a little bit better from what I've seen.
So thank you for your support, by the way, people.
Yeah, let's get us to 100 within the next week.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I had a few random people come up to me in the gym actually and say, like, "Oh, I saw you come up on my Instagram." They're like, "What's the name of the pod?"
So the Think Strong pod.
Just follow it now.
Yeah.
Good. But yeah, let's kick off today with a bit of a general catch up. I think we don't really talk about what we've been doing on the day normally, because we've normally record fairly early on a Wednesday. But what have you been up to this weekend or this morning?
This morning, to be honest, just a little bit of admin, tidying up a couple of programs, and here we are already. But also just been nursing some DOMs after some qualifiers. I'm on the last week of the Marbella qualifier, so they've been consecutive for 3 weeks, and I had to do a competition in the middle of those 3 weeks as well. So looking forward to letting the body calm down, which it has already, to be fair. Like I'm over the hill with it. So looking forward to getting back to a bit more kind of normality when it comes to training and not feeling quite so battered. Just general life, online coaching life in Bali. Other than that, how about yourself?
It's good. How was the qualifier from yesterday? Let's chat about that a little bit first.
Yeah, good. So it was a 2-parter, which I knew it was coming. I don't know why, but I knew they were going to do a 2-parter with a lift there. And the first part was an 8-minute AMRAP, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, etc. Adding 3 reps to the 2 movements, which were deadlifts at 100 kg and wall balls at 9 kg. Then straight after the 8 minutes, you have 5 minutes to find a heavy complex of 1 clean and 2 shoulder to overhead. So no built-in rest or anything. You're straight in. It was hard because the low back was screaming at me after all those deadlifts and getting into a complex where you just didn't want to fail it. It's one of the things, like, you're not going to really get to like a 1 RM that would be reflective of if you're actually fresh, because of the amount of work you've just done, how high your heart rate is. It's just a case of getting something respectable that you're not going to fail. But
especially with like the re-rack in there as well.
Yeah, definitely. Did feel like surprisingly confident in terms of actually like getting the barbell up into place. It was like I opted for a power clean because I knew that the 2 shoulders to overhead would limit me somewhat in terms of the overall weight anyway. So just powered it, and like once that was over, it was a little bit like, oh, okay, like I can focus on these overheads now. But yeah, got a banker score on the board, so we'll see. Probably we'll redo it next week to go a bit more ballsy with the lift, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think more so for males, if they get the clean, the jerk is gonna happen. Maybe the other way around for women. They seem to, like, just from my experience of coaching weightlifting, the barbell overhead seems to be the more like fear barrier to like their kind of weightlifting. Like even like with snatch accessories overhead as well. They're always like super confident in the clean, but not as confident in the shoulder to overhead. Whereas like guys will fail their clean because they try and go so much heavier. Just mong the bar overhead in that situation.
Yeah, so it's a tough one, and when you get to those points where it is under so much fatigue, then it kind of does expose like those nuances between people a bit more as well. Like you start to see how people can differ quite a lot between each other, just with their personal traits and biases and stuff, and their ability to be able to get on the bar when they're still breathing heavy.
Yeah, I think finding like their variation as well for the shoulder to overhead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's never going to look pretty in a workout in that short of a time domain either. It's just about getting it done.
Yeah, exactly that. I actually started my last lift at 12 minutes 30, so I had 30 seconds. And yeah, I was still panting as I was doing it. I was like, well, I've got to get it up. But yeah.
Yeah, nice. It's good. Well, maybe a redo for you or not?
Yeah, I finished the complex at 120, which was like something which I like was just satisfied with, because I know that those two shoulder to overheads were going to be very, very tough under that amount of fatigue. One's a different story, but two, with a re-rack, I was a bit worried that I was just going to not get something decent. But now I know I've got that score, I will go in and try and do it again, and I will have a ballsy attempt where I just go for the lift as the priority, or the heavier lift as a priority. I won't be going like 110, 115, 120. I'll just go for maybe 122 and then 125 or something like that, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just go straight in at the heavy ones. Depends how it's feeling as I'm building.
Yeah, nice. It's good.
Which is
good
pathetic comparatively to some people that are on the leaderboard, especially in the elite category. But yeah, that's.
I guess like the thing scored on both parts, obviously.
Yeah.
So like depending on what they can sandbag in the 8 minutes, they can make up for in the weightlifting if they're ridiculously strong or have loads in reserves there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and vice versa as well, because if a rep is equal to a kilo, 5 extra wall balls cost a lot less on the body than 5 kilos on the complex. So yeah, but also it kind of depends where you finish the workout as well, because 5 extra deadlifts at 100 kg probably cost the same, if not slightly more, than 5 kg. So it's like, wow, where do you expect yourself to finish?
Yeah, pick your poison there.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. This morning I just got into a little bit of training as well. I'm in a nice kind of rhythm at the minute, getting back into things properly. Started with some split jerks just to kind of see where we were. I was training with Danny this morning. It was nice. Just some block work, split jerks, push jerks at a little bit of a lighter load. Then some push press to finish as well, which was nice. And then into some very long rowing intervals. Today we had 3 lots of 2,000 meters with a 2-minute rest in between. It was hurting after the first one, to be honest. And then
yeah, that is definitely in the upper echelon of volume when it comes to rowing intervals. Well, probably not for rowers, but for gym goers, I'd say. Yeah. And obviously, I spoke to you the other day, and you said you're feeling a bit sore just as a result of getting back to training properly, which is obviously good within itself.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice to feel like you're back into a nice flow and rhythm again. Had like a busy period, but getting back into some routines, good. Just with a bit of structure is nice. Feeling like a lot fitter. Again, this week got back into running for the first time, which is nice, just to get myself moving again. Got like a functional fitness comp when I'm back in England, so just a teams thing. It will be nice to touch on some intensity with like some mates, which will be good.
What comp's that?
I think I'm doing Farm Games, which is just at Farm Fitness in England. And then there's also another comp, but I'm not sure on that one yet.
Nice. Fully back into the swing.
Yeah, it's good. Feels good to be back in there. And fighting my way through the Bali personalities in the gym, which we're going to touch on now also.
Yeah, that's like the side quest to the side quest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Flying through the NPCs.
Yeah. There's been a guy in the gym recently who he trains, or he's done he's done definitely one or maybe two training camps with Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
Zayad, I think his name is. He actually came to our weightlifting class, which was cool because like he's obviously like performing at quite a high level in boxing, but we all know, well, most of us know that combat S&C when you see in the gym is pretty horrific most of the time. I don't know what your opinion on that would be.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree. And I would say that Anthony Joshua was one of the first fighters who I saw actually train properly in terms of S&C. And by properly,
he was working with them lads in Birmingham, I think. Their place is called like Velocity or something.
And by properly, like we just mean like basic barbells, like what did I see him doing? Just literally deadlifts and like some sort of rotation. And I was like, wow, that is more and so much better than I've seen but literally any fighter do ever. You never know. Obviously, there could be an element of S&C in there, in the secret sauce for some of these fighters, but a lot of the time it's not. Maybe in the world of MMA, it's slightly better. Maybe kind of culturally, it's just been attached to it for a little bit longer, with it being a slightly newer discipline, and there seems to be a bit more documented as well. So I wonder if that helps the rise to the big leagues almost. You know, we've got Ultimate Fighter and all of that, and
I would say that the top level is definitely getting better S&C wise for like combat sports. But I think if you went into like a local boxing gym or somewhere, the S&C would be pretty rough. Like you said, it's just that cultural thing from most of the coaches that are in that lower level of like, they've come through that same like run in your sweatsuit, like push-ups constantly, and just all that kind of old school mentality, which I would say a fighter still needs. I think that Dan Lawrence is a trainer. He trains Conor Benn, and he had another fighter who fought Canelo. I forget his name. And I think he went 12 rounds with him. And he would say like old mentality, but new methods was like his thing. We'd have like that dog fighter mentality with their training, but they would just use modern methods to like move with the times.
Would be really interesting it would be really interesting to compare two fighters if you could like put them through the exact same like number of weeks in a camp with like an old methodology, and then one where they just kind of allow them to be immersed by like the technology and things like that, and see how and if their mindset kind of falls apart when it comes to like the points where they really need to be in the trenches, and they need to be accustomed to a bit of suffering and not be like overly mollycoddled in any way.
It's always like it's a really interesting conversation, this one, because when you look at if you look at talent on its own, and then the difference between like all the modern methods. So say if you look at like football and the top level, you look at like Ronaldo and Messi. Messi, unbelievably talented. Like, is he doing the same level of like S&C as Ronaldo? Do you know what I mean? To like get, say if your like athletic ability can be his potential, say Messi's is like 7 or 6 out of 10. Like, has he tried to bridge the gap to 10 out of 10 like Ronaldo has to get the most out of him on top of his talent, or did he need to? Or like you look at like Wayne Rooney, probably the best English player of all time. Like he wasn't doing any fucking S&C.
No,
he was just an absolute animal that would like like go after people. You look at Jamie Vardy documentary on Netflix if you haven't watched it,
Yeah, I've
or
seen
if
a bit of
anyone's
it.
listening who hasn't. It's so good, mate. It was just like on the piss constantly until he started like taking it more seriously. But then he's still like so suboptimal in terms of like pre-game. It's like Red Bull and like completely against the grain, but like just had the bit between his teeth when he went across the white line. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's really interesting. Like, I think for some people, they can maximize their potential through like solid gym work, whereas like it could be detrimental maybe to someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like it's good to see the different sides of it and how for some people, like you say, can make a huge difference to be structured, to be optimal with their full approach before a game or whatever it is they're going in to improve. But also for people to have the like that switch in their mind where they can think like, I have the confidence to perform no matter what. It's down to like me as I'm standing here now, as opposed to the preparation and all the stuff I've done before. And in a way, I've thought about this a lot, like for myself when I was playing rugby and stuff, because I'd go through periods of being like so cautious with how I was preparing and making sure I was just trying to do everything right to be good on the pitch. And then sometimes that would take away from me on the pitch when I'd cross over the line and I'd be just either overworked or not in the right headspace or not in the right mentality to be able to like take opportunities and be as creative as I potentially could be. And that's what where it came to kind of fruition with me. It was like trying to find a bit more balance of being able to be relaxed enough to express what you've built on the pitch. But like I say, it's a varying spectrum for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's so like, I think back to like when I was playing football, and I remember I never really used to like eating much before I played. Obviously, like it's a long time ago now, so you look now about how I've learned how to fuel and stuff like that. But I remember I wouldn't eat within like 2.5 hours of a game. Never. I would always have like a big breakfast, and then I would be going to the toilet multiple times, and I'd always want to feel like empty.
Yeah.
It was more like a psychological thing as well, though. Do you know what I mean? Because you're like,
yeah,
in your head, you're like, if you get that wrong and you're going onto the pitch and you're not feeling your best, it's like, it can take away your edge.
It's funny, isn't it, how like a preconceived idea of like what you should be feeling like when you go onto the pitch can shape your whole approach and how you'd potentially do it for years. And then it's not until you step away from it, like it is for a lot of people, that they realize like, oh, that wasn't necessarily the best way to be going about things.
Still got through 90 minutes though, so it was all right.
Yeah. That must have been the Red Bull.
The halftime oranges.
Halftime snooze.
Yeah. That's a bit of a tangent we went on off the back of one Barley personality in the gym. But anyway, back to him. He was shadow boxing in the middle of the gym, but like probably the first person I've seen actually throw some shapes that looked like a boxer.
Yeah.
There was sweat flying everywhere, and I was thinking he's going to run into my barbell at some point. But no close shaves, which was good. But yeah, I was kind of just like having a bit of reflection the other day on the different kind of Barley personality types that we see. And I wrote like a few notes down of some people. And there's like, you'll meet people that come to class. Well, for context, the gym is like, we live in like a holiday destination. So it's a lot of people just coming in just to visit as a guest, which is also fine. But yeah, people just come in to train somewhere, like just to get a picture. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I went to this place. It was like cool. Sometimes it can be really frustrating because like we're mentioning, like the standard of like getting the basics correct is so low within the fitness industry. But these people are obviously like very harmless as well, aren't they? They're like, fitness like isn't their thing, and that's what we always try to say on this pod. Like we talk about improving performance like quite a lot, don't we? But we understand that there's room for like these people as well.
And that's the thing, like a quick like tangent on that is that like the job of the coach, obviously to varying degrees, but it is to get someone who does not particularly care about fitness to care about fitness slightly more. So ultimately, like that's the first hurdle that you're trying to cross in any like coaching situation with Gen Pop. So when it's amplified, it's definitely noticeable. Obviously for yourself and for you guys that are coaching in person more so.
Yeah, I think, that's what you're always trying to do, right? Have like that little bit of impact on someone, whether someone's never done CrossFit before they come to the class, and you can teach them how to kip. Do you know what I mean? Like for the first time, and then they're like, "Oh, that's what it's supposed to feel like." They leave a session feeling great, which, like for some people, is enough. One thing that I don't like is on the second type of person, which we see probably more often than not, is people that only come to record like what you see on socials, from like more of a fitness influencer standpoint, and then you'll see them in a class and they're just like a bag of shit on all of the movements, and they have no lungs. But then you'll see them say to their mate, like, "Oh, mate, will you record this for like 5 seconds?" And they'll go like as fast as they can on the air bike. But that's like the clip that you'll see online. But like in reality, that's not where they're at all. One, like that's not the way they're training to look the way they say they do train, or the way they say they get fit, when in reality they're not fit at all. It's just what you're seeing online, and that's kind of the hard part for people when they're looking at stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that's just the dream that people unfortunately are always potentially going to get sold with something like social media and Instagram. And when we kind of see it like on a repeated situation, like day in, day out, it's a bit like, fucking hell, like are people not going to see through this? But obviously not, otherwise these people wouldn't have the following that they do. At the moment, it seems to be a bit of a trend that people are like almost doing like gym tours. I don't know if you've noticed that. They'll go in there like peak hours, and they'll talk people, because it's an incredibly like aesthetic place and gym, and obviously there's a lot of good people in good shape working out and all the rest of it. So it provides this kind of this scenery which is so could be capitalized on so much, and people don't hesitate on doing it. And the gym tours always make me laugh, because there'll be people there legitimately trying to train, and someone's walking around like showing off the exact piece of machinery that they're using like during a set or something. That's a funny one.
Yeah, that seems to be a thing that's like happening more so now. It's fucking annoying. We both sit here wearing mics, but this twat's holding it in their hand, walking through the gym at the same time.
Yeah, I think gone are the days of actually like talking to the mic in the gym and doing gym-based content in like a destination gym, aren't they? When we first came here like two and a half years ago now, like it was much smaller, much less busy, and it was hard enough then. But everyone kind of goes through that period, and I see the people holding the mic like this, talking to the camera, and I'm like, I've been there. Good luck when you come to edit it and
editing that. It's gonna be very difficult. I got to do some recording tomorrow. Monday, but it's like 6:30, 6:45 a.m. in the morning. Like no one, the sun's just peeping through. There's not a soul in there because the gym's just opened. And it's kind of like the only way to get it done. There's no other like a period of time, unless it's pitch black at night when there's no one in there as well.
I was talking to someone a couple of days ago who said it's the only gym that you can go to at 7 p.m. and it will be less busy than it is throughout the day, as opposed to that being like normal peak hours, just because everyone's on a fucking different schedule, aren't they? Like everyone's doing this, that, and the other.
It's on its head, isn't it? Here, it's weird.
Yeah.
Another thing just on like that topic as well is this is more so for like people that may be listening to the pod, that either the people that listen or people that their friends and stuff that they might speak to about this kind of stuff as well. But when you see like the jacked girls and the boys that are like juiced up to their eyeballs, which like there's nothing wrong with, but they're doing like booty band workouts and ab workouts, and the people that are watching it, like, just don't be so gullible to believe that that's like how these people get in shape. Do you know what I mean? These people just like having content ideas, and like to them, they're having a good time in the gym, creating it or whatever, which is also like fine. But it's like the impact that it can have on someone else. Cause then you see other people like wasting 60 minutes with a band or an ankle weight doing some fucking movement that's like not really making any significant change. There's a reason Pilates are all fucking putting resistance into their programs now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for these influencers that do that kind of thing where they just record some sort of throwaway content where it's like, you know, synchronized to the beat of the song, and like they're doing press ups or touching the shoulders, and like you know, synchro with a partner, all of that stuff. It's like it's throwaway content even for them. And like if you are someone who's got, you know, a bit between the ears and has a bit of awareness, they'll probably even admit that it's just like throwaway content that's going to get them some views and is what it is. But unfortunately, like, those people don't have the same level of awareness to say like, oh, like if I'm actually selling a program or coaching, like maybe I should be talking about the things that are, or showing at least the things that are actually going to stimulate some results, adaptation, whichever way you want to put it. With that throwaway content, unfortunately, comes a cohort of people which are going to all of a sudden think that's the New Testament of fitness, and then banded donkey leg fucking kickbacks or whatever they're doing, then become their daily routine for the next like I said, for the next hour and 10 minutes, where they could be doing something like really, really valuable within that small period of time and get some quite significant results if it was directed in the right way. Which is probably it just probably frustrates us as coaches more than it does other people. But that's just because we can kind of see the end product of it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think like some of the stuff they're doing is not bad. Like some of it can be really like useful and good in like an accessory to something substantial that they can actually like grow from, and like you said, get a good training adaptation from. But yeah, having the awareness to tell people that that's not what it should be is not there for some of these people. I took a retreat this week on Thursday, and it was for a guy that's quite well known in the fitness industry. He's got like 1.5 million followers on Instagram. Like I think he does quite well on YouTube and across some other platforms. And we were like, oh, what do you want to do in the session? And they just wanted like a pairs workout that was just like a sweat basically. And then when he turned up, I saw there was like a guy with like 2 cameras, like professional cameras. And I was like, what do you want to like get out of the session? Really, all they wanted was like some content from it, which makes sense. Do you know what I mean? When you've got a brand like that big. So in my head, I was like, obviously I wanted the session to be good. And it was a pairs workout where they worked in like 4 9-minute windows with some rest in between. And it had like a buy-in, then some shared work, then some synchro work, then back on the machine they were using in the remaining time. But I just lined everything up like nicely. So content-wise, it looked good. And like they had a great session, and then they were like, they appreciated like the setup and stuff for content. So there's like an element of care that goes into that as well for people when you're working in such a big space that they want to use. Because like the gym is like pretty famous in the fitness space, so people want to come and use it.
That's the thing there. Like when you've got a basic enough or deep enough understanding of what is still going to be useful, you can still have room to play around to complement other things as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. And I saw him like chatting on his story the next day about how fucked they all were from the session. But that goes back to like, people like not really training with like a level of intensity normally.
Yeah.
And then being plonked into something with like really good structure. Yeah, and like these people are on a retreat, so they haven't acclimatized either to temperature or anything yet. So it's all stuff that we've like mentioned before.
Yeah, kind of coming off the back of what we were saying with people selling a certain idea of fitness or training, and almost the perception that is what they've done to look a certain way. We can also go into the world of like performance a little bit more with that. I'd see a lot of
the current trend.
Yes, that's right. And I see a lot of content from coaches really pointing out the fact that like the same thing that we've been saying, but almost taking a much harder stance with it from the world of performance. So you get a lot of people saying like, because this person's selling a High Rocks program and they look in a certain way, they're saying to people, you need to realize that training for High Rocks, you're not gonna all of a sudden look like this person. It's like, yes, true, but as so many other things are in fitness, there's a big but behind it. Providing you are training for High Rocks correctly and properly preparing yourself for performance, there is going to be elements of strength training. There's going to be elements of accessory work, which will resemble bodybuilding work. And a lot of the time, these are people that come from the bodybuilding world and they're saying, oh yeah, but they've gone through massive periods of physique development. I'm like, have they? Like, if I look at myself and, I can say that, I've compared to the average person, I've got more muscle mass. Compared to the average person, I'm probably leaner as well. I wouldn't say I've ever been through a period of time where I've purely focused on physique development. It's because I've been preparing for sports which have been, which have had a well-rounded strength and conditioning bias, which have had elements of these valuable things which are going to contribute to better performance overall. So people try and give this clear-cut, definitive answer to, oh, yeah, because you need to do more bodybuilding. You need to be a bodybuilder for a while. You need to do this for a while. No, you just need to understand what goes into a good program.
Yeah, literally that. And I think it's what people are just arguing on the internet, aren't they, about stuff they don't really understand, or they don't. The thing is, they could have a well-rounded program, but they just don't train also with any intensity. Do you know what I mean? Because like what happens normally, people get to their accessories, these people that are performance-based, and you can guarantee that they're going balls to the walls with all of their specific High Rocks work. But then when it comes to their accessories, where they should be training with the same kind of intensity to stimulate muscle growth or like strength maintenance or whatever it is, they're just neglecting that side of their training. Therefore, like there's no like training adaptation at all to even create any kind of change in their body. And we know that how nutrition and stuff goes into that as well. Shouldn't really need to touch on that. People should understand.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not sure people do, because what I find, especially with nutrition, is they claim an understanding of it, but they've just got no ability to implement it. And like when it comes down to things as basic as tracking your food, like if you've never done that before and you still think that you're eating like correct amounts, very likely you're probably not, one way or the other.
I think even people's like comprehension of like within, so like on the internet, people will be like, oh, it's not just calories in, calories out, but like you should know that from a health standpoint anyway, because you like people that just do focus on calories, they just end up a skinnier, fat version of themselves anyway, because like they haven't eaten anything to support their training or trained hard enough within that. Do you know what I mean? Like the evidence is always there. It's like you can eat less and move like a tiny little bit more, and yeah, you will lose body fat, but you're not necessarily going to maintain or reveal any kind of muscle mass in that same process. Whereas like the client that does listen, that that does train hard, that does eat like more so real food, do you know what I mean, throughout that process, is going to have a better result. Like the evidence is literally always there, but people still want to try and argue like on the internet about that.
Yeah, it's very true. And I wonder what it comes down to, because I've seen people across the board which have a very, very real potential to all of a sudden go from bad habits, whether it's training and not training with intent and leaving so many things on the table, even when they technically know what they should be doing, to going to a point where it clicks, they understand everything slowly comes together, and now they're at this point where, you know, they've done the work and it's so much better. Like on the flip side, you've got these people which just have no ability to implement anything properly ever, and I wonder if that comes down to a certain personality trait, and that might just be me sounding like a dickhead, but honestly, I do think there is people out there in the world which have no ability to fucking implement anything properly. And if you're of that mindset and you're aware of it, which some people actually are, they seem to think that they can get away with not doing things properly and still getting the result. Somehow are still confused when that result doesn't come.
Yeah, I think that, especially when I worked like in just a transformation gym, where that was my kind of like my bread and butter. Do you know what I mean? It was like, we're going to fucking train really hard in a smart way, but we're also doubling down on lifestyle factors, habits, like nutritional behaviors, and getting people to sustain that long term. Like you said, some people just can't fucking implement anything, and these are like fully grown adults as well that get through life every day. But sometimes decision making that you hear as a coach, you think, like, how are you even getting through life at this point?
Yeah, 100%, because there's an argument for like the busyness of life being a factor to, you know, make things harder. And for sure, like, we're not sitting here trying to claim to be the fucking hardest people in the world, which like have no excuses for anything and always get the result. But at the same time, like, there's still that level of incompetent people that have the busyness of life and all of the rest of it, and you know, they just use that as a smoke screen to be like, oh yeah, I can't do anything properly in my life whatsoever.
Yeah, I think, and even like you look at it now, people will use AI for everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, how can I do this? How can I do that? They do the same thing with nutrition. They're like, they'll blast that in there and then just not implement any of it. And it's more that behavior kind of thing as well. Yeah, nutrition is probably one of the more frustrating parts of fitness to think about. But the thing is, when you do make that breakthrough with somebody, they then have that knowledge for their whole life. So they're never in this like state of I don't know, you've probably felt this as well, but you always have some clients that are in like this constant state of stress about nutrition when all of the facts have been laid out for them, and a process as well. But then, like even if I use myself for an example, like say I want to do a Hyrox race in 18 weeks. I know all the tools needed to drop a few kilos to feel lighter for a better performance in running, even say if that was the goal. I'm not like, I don't then get to the 10-week point and think, oh, what am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? It's like throughout my life, I've gone up in weight, come down in weight, maintained weight, and learning through the process not to be like held to your phone where you're counting calories, because by this point you already know like how much is in whatever it might be that you're eating. Do you know what I mean? Like how many eggs should I be eating here? What gram of chicken should I be eating here? Like basic portion sizes and stuff like that. But it's like actually taking the information in and processing it like you would to learn anything else, like even in someone's normal job. Like, how would you learn how to do something and then you wouldn't just forget it? Do you know what I mean? You would constantly practice on it.
I think you're right in that some people get stuck in this like perpetual state of stress about even food or tracking specifically, and it just becomes this bigger and bigger thing because they don't take on board that it's going to suck. It's going to be a pain in the ass for like the next 2 or 3 weeks. But like anything where you're trying to turn it into a habit, it's really not going to feel like that. And, you know, things are going to start to repeat and it's going to become a much easier process. But people get stuck into this, in this loop, and it becomes this big thing. And I feel so stressed and, oh my God, this is the thing that's creating like all of my issues in my life. And it's just got to go. And, you know, I wonder if that's, there's like a mental, like a personality trait that kind of taps into some people for. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of mental barriers around nutrition. Obviously, it can be a little bit more complex, can't it? But even in the same breath there, like some people will say, no, I can't do that. I don't want to track. Like eating healthy is expensive. They'll make like any excuse they can to stay in the same state that they are, even though the thought of changing and getting to a goal to them is nice. But then the actual, when it comes to like the crunch and it's like, these are the things that you need to do. Oh, no, I just can't stay where I am. Do you know what I mean? That seems to be one of the biggest things that happens with nutrition.
Yeah, and I think we've said it before. Well, I know we've said it before. It's a bit of like my favorite thing to say, to be honest, about nutrition. But it's like, because like my theory is that because nutrition is one of those things that we are solely responsible for within ourselves, that takes away from trusting an expert for whatever reason. We think that we know better a lot of the time because it's us putting the food into our fat faces. We think that we know better. And to a certain extent, I think fitness and movement as well, because you do get some people that are like, oh no, that doesn't work for me, this doesn't work for me. But at the end of the day, you're a Homo sapien, and you're although you might your mum might have told you that you're different and you're special, but like the reality is that your physiology is pretty similar to the next person.
Yeah, very well said.
Yeah, just to drive that point home for the 6th time on the Think Strong podcast.
For any new listeners, that is your first time and not the last time you'll hear that again as well.
I'll just think of a more extravagant way to word it next time.
Yeah. Before we wrap things up, there was another like kind of topic that I wanted to touch on that we've been talking about training stuff anyway, but it was just more of like a question. It was like is training 6 or 7 days a week normal? And this is a thing we chatted a little bit about before we come on here, but you see it here a lot, and you kind of see it everywhere, but people are still in that kind of hustle mode, aren't they? Like I'm training seven days a week, but it's like, where can you recover from any kind of adaptation there without just the 6 days kind of merging into one block of like intensity? Or even if you feel like you are in a very structured like program, like, are you really getting maximum out of each one of those 6 sessions? For most people, in my opinion, the answer would be no. There's obviously like outliers to that, but I've spoke to people with like strength and weightlifting athletes that I've said like, oh, how often do you train? They're like 3 days a week or 4 days a week. But I think that's like, obviously when you're getting to a level where you understand the intensity you need to bring to certain sessions to stay at that level. What would you?
I think we're definitely led to believe that that people train a lot more than they do, and I would say even if people are training more than they more than one would expect, and like the way that social media portrays, are they getting compounding results from that elevated training volume. Almost definitely not.
Yeah, I think I've had multiple conversations with people at the gym that start with like, it's an excitement thing as well. They'll do like 2 classes back to back for like 3 months. Then I'm like, oh, I haven't seen you for a while. Where have you been? They're like, oh yeah, I took 2 weeks off. It's just like the evidence is also there to see with that as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like so unsustainable for so much so that it drives somebody to have half a month off doing any training at all. And I'm like, how detrimental is that when you come back into the gym?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a minefield across the board. Like I see so many weekly training split reels on Instagram where it's like 7 days, and the only like pullback day is like a 10K run or something. It's like maybe if you weren't smashing yourself like that, you would actually see some like movement quality improvements. You'd see your strength go up. You'd see, maybe your body composition improve slightly. Your like sleep would improve. Like all of these markers, which everyone talks about, everyone supposedly knows about, but again, comes back to similar talk we were talking about with nutrition. It's just the implementation of it. Everyone's guilty of like getting their training wrong or maybe pushing things slightly too hard sometimes. But when it comes down to like continued like abusing your training and your body as a result of that, it's like you've got no one else to blame.
Yeah, it's like people just kind of disregard thinking about what they're actually doing to their body. There was a girl in the gym this week. She was like, could tell that she was tired on Monday. I was like, how are you feeling? She's like, yeah, I feel really tired. I don't really know her. She's just been in the gym like the last 2 weeks and just got to know her through being her on holiday. And then I like said to her like, well, what would you normally do on this exercise? So she's like this. And I was like, I'll maybe go something a little bit lighter, keep a couple of reps in the tank, still like challenge. She was like, yeah, cool, thanks. And then I was coaching someone else and I come back to where she was, and she was on a machine and the damper's like all the way up on 10. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you're not even really thinking about like any kind of output that you're doing. It's just like, I'll just go to the machine and continue from whatever the previous person left it on.
Yeah.
Like the seat height was wrong. And it's just like, you're not really thinking about how anything's working. Do you know what I mean? In her legs and stuff. And that's like a nice opportunity to coach and be like, okay, let's bring the damper down, focus this on your breathing and not building up so much like waste in your legs. So you're not feeling heavy after the first 30 seconds on the bike.
Comes down to a bit of that maturity, I think, and the people that are going to go like a bit further, maybe with performance-based stuff in particular, or even have longevity to well-rounded training in general. The people that are going to go further are the people that kind of cross that barrier of being a bit more mature, understanding their like there's always going to be shit of people like content, people doing more than you, people trying to sell you the dream that they're doing X, Y, and Z, but like what it comes down to is basics executed well with a like sustainable enough approach so that you can continue to do it for as long as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Do you want to wrap things up there for today, mate?
Yeah, that's a nice little intro to our online what's the word? I was gonna say like secondary personalities. What is the word for that?
I don't know.
Online personas.
Yeah, our new online persona. This one will probably get more views on YouTube because we haven't used the professional camera.
Yeah, we recorded it on a potato and it's going to go viral.
Yeah.
Pretty much just for 50 minutes of us calling people incompetent, but that's what people want to hear anyway.
Yeah, that's what they want to hear. It's good. Cool. Thanks.
Appreciate the support.
Yeah,
let's like, subscribe and share if you can. I'm sure we'll get this process clean and and running smoothly very soon.
Yeah. See you on the next one.